Hello, hello. Everything is good to go. So yesterday I started about 15 pins. We're going to back that off and we're going to do one of each of the color schemes that I've got here. And that is going to make it so hopefully we can get through everything and see what it looks like at the end. So that's the plan. Going to try and move quickly and efficiently, but pretty excited to see what these look like. Um, working our way through, you'll be able to see them. But yeah, as far as the chopping block goes, got these that I shall be working through. But yeah, hope everybody's doing well today. It's nice and warm here in the workshop, and yeah, let's see what else. Got to hit the pause button on some innovating, so we can um, work a little bit more on replenishing the inventory. That way we can have a successful Orlando pin show, because that's the next thing that is on the chopping block aside from the San Francisco pin show, but got inventory for that already, so no problems. But without further ado, let's get to it. All right, over at the metal lathe. Metal lathe, you know what that means. That means there's drilling and a little bit more drilling. That'll be the primary focus today until I make my way through all of these. Yeah, that'll be good. So, something that I was thinking about was trying to figure out how to make a pocket pen. That was one of the things that I had in mind as far as like working on something a little different, working on a different design and execution process of said design. Um, yeah. Primarily, it's going to be caps in the beginning here, and then we'll see where we're at, and then maybe move to some sections. So, just going to see how far we can get. But yeah, thinking about smaller size pens seem to be something that a lot of people are really interested in. I'm not surprised because I like this pen right here. This is a pocket pen that I made for myself quite a while ago. It's about 4 3/4 inch, so it's really not too far off. I guess when it comes to something that's already that small, it's pretty significant, but it's not too far off the actual size of the fountain pens that I made, which are 5.5. So it's pretty fun. Pretty fun working on different designs. So if I can't work on making them, which would be pretty unusual because you just come out here and start working on whatever it is, um, a quick way to do something like that would be to just draw it. But I'm not exactly an artiste, so I just have to explain some things sometimes when I'm working on different ideas. Um, and then something else I was thinking about that I thought would be pretty cool. I'm not sure what other people think about it, but it was something to the effect um, of like showing how I can like, deconstruct something and then reconstructing it in a way that makes it so you can like reskin basically whatever the thing is that you're working on. It's kind of crazy that there's so let's see. There's so many ways to do something, and it's a matter of like finding your way or most efficient way, and just kind of working through that whole process. Oops, didn't go far enough yet. Let's see. I need to put this back on. And I got to drill out the relief for the fountain pen, the fitting inside here. Whoops. Look at that. Starting off mediocre here. All right. There we go. Perfect. Now we're good to go. A little ahead of myself there. The fountain pen would not have gone in. Wouldn't have worked out well. Okay, so here's this one here. So this one is going to look like this. It's pretty neat. Needs a little bit of refining, but we shall get there. Yeah, just working on caps for now. So if you were here, you probably saw my other little, like, not innovation, but it's more like a different technique to implement when preparing. So using a Forstner bit both creates that flat surface, and then it also creates the pilot hole. So it's like it acts as something that accomplishes two things, and I do like efficiency. So that's what it's doing. Let's see. Back off right quick, do the outer, and then do the inner. And these are going to be quite translucent, especially after drilling them, because you could probably see the drill bit going through. For very opaque resins, you cannot see that as well. So pretty interesting to be able to see. Just from a maker's point of view, that's interesting to see how it was made in the first place. So I guess just a different way of thinking when you're looking at different things. Some people like to take a look at the colors and absolutely understand that. But as I am not the maker of these colors, I see things a little bit differently. I look at the construction of it all. There we go. Gotta go just far enough where it doesn't make contact, and then it can lock the tailstock and send it in. We've got this to create a nice little bevel. So if you heard me working on the bodies before, yesterday, or any other time really, this is basically half of what I'm talking about when it comes to making the components fit together. So for a for a body to fit right into it nicely, it needs to be like a slight recess, or you can do what some people call the gutter. You can make the gutter of the pins, and those are on the bodies. There's not anything wrong with it. It's just it depends on the visual that you're going for. So and also by doing the little slant there, it makes it so the tap goes in nice and easy. So here we are, I've got that. Let me go ahead and take a look at this component and show you what I'm talking about a little bit. Just the body, chase some threads right quick. Yep, that would be snug, which is not what we're going for here. We want it smooth. Yeah. So just chasing the threads here. So I've got the die in this die holder here, and I'm just running the threads again. And the reason it actually does anything, one is because these are used less frequently than the other ones, and there's also, you might be able to see that part here where the die was made, and so what I do with that is I crank this screwed down onto the die, and it makes the ring tighter. So that's a way that I can make these threads a little bit more snug. And then as far as my process goes, I don't always cut a gutter until afterwards because of how my mandrels are. I don't really need to, and I can do it over on the wood lathe, but you also may find that you don't even need to. So I mean, you can see that everything's matching up nicely and then spinning quite true. So no real reason to adjust anything on that, which is nice. But for the first one that I did, I do need to chase those threads again to allow for a smoother function. Yeah. But yeah, this blank is pretty cool. I'm excited to see once I get the material a bit thinner here to see what it'll look like. Let's see. But yeah, we're only going to be working on 6. That way we can hopefully make it through everything in a reasonable time. Unlike some other times. Let's see, what orientation do I want to go with this one? The section is going to be blue. So for this, it's going to be blue up here, green here. Yeah, we're definitely going to do the green out. When you're making your own pins, that type of customization is really, you know, the whole point of everything is being able to do whatever it is that you want to do and have the freedoms to do it. But there's a balance of like artistic ability and skill level and those types of things. So it's pretty interesting having that balance of things. Some people are attracted to things that are more complex and complicated, and some people are attracted to things that are very simple. And you know, both I find very interesting. That one has, yeah. So something that I wonder about is people that stop by to check out what I'm doing. I wonder if they see like a metal lathe and they're like, no, I'm not going to hang out because I don't have a metal lathe. But everything that I'm doing on the metal lathe can be done on a wood lathe. So it's all you need is a the tailstock that moves left and right, and then you just need a set of jaws to hold the material. So I think sometimes people just see a metal lathe and it's like, oh, that's not for me. But I did start this entire process on just a wood lathe, my whole pin making journey. So it's just kind of growing into different tools, I suppose. But yeah, using a metal lathe, and I pretty much never cut metal on it. So just a little weird with some people probably, but it's not that unusual. But yeah, there we go. Mhm. Making some good progress here. Create a little bit of a recess on the inside, and then we're going to make a little bevel. A little recess and bevel at the same time with this, and then exaggerate the bevel a little bit more for ease of capping and threading. Nice. And then we get our cap and take it home. Let's slow it down a bit here. There we go. And feels nice. A little iffy on the glitter of this, so I'm not sure if that's going to work nicely, but we shall see. All right, that. Now we're going to be a purple potion. Yeah, purple potion cap. Here we go. At the DC show, there were a lot of people that were very interested in purple. So, all the different kinds of purples. And we had a few, but it's just one of those things where the more shows you go to, the feedback that you get, and you kind of adjust as necessary. And it's kind of another interesting point because everybody thinks that when you start a business that you're working for yourself, where you're actually serving those that are supporting you. So interesting way to see something, and it seems like a lot of people don't actually think of it necessarily like that. You actually have more bosses when you do it like that. But you do have a little bit of the freedoms to say, no, I'm not do that or whatever. But if you find a project to be interesting, there are absolutely ways to go about doing them. And some some things that I have seen people do once they start their custom making business of sorts, they like to take on whatever projects they can to help build whatever it is that they're trying to build. And while you may get a customer like that, uh, there's kind of a couple sides to that as well. You might get someone that is very particular, and I can understand some things being particular, but there's got to be, a line somewhere. Otherwise, it's never going to be right, and then you end up with like 10 different things and still haven't satisfied whatever it was in the first place. So, one of those things where you got to be careful and, value your own time and everything. But also, don't be afraid to take on projects that you think are interesting. Um, there's actually a couple projects that I've been reached out, and I'll be working on those probably after all the pin shows have that we're attending, at least after those have passed. So towards the end of the year, and then be able to do a little innovations and research and developments, and but for now, gotta do different things until we get back to a point where we're outside of the pin show. So I suppose it's just one of those things. I do turn full time, but I don't turn exclusively fountain pens full time. So I guess it's a interesting interesting position to for that. There's that balance of innovation and then production that I'm having to figure out uh, while working through everything. I like the innovation and customization elements of things, but you make something once, you can only sell it once. So uh, it's kind of funny like that. But, there are a variety of things that have been on our radar as far as different projects and different things to, I guess, cope with that kind of stuff. But it just is one of those things. Let's see. Now, well, I don't even talk about that. That's there, that's there, that's there. Okay. Gotta stay organized. I like my pins going together how they're supposed to with the blank that they were a part of, which is a part of why I label them the way that I do. Um, I've got I've got multiple pens, and this one actually lines up, which is pretty cool. It's not always that it happens, but you triple start threads make it so you have 3 times the chances of it happening. But still doesn't always work out. Anyway, what I was saying before is I would keep my blanks numbered and organized in a way that I know which pieces go to which pen. And I find that to be pretty pretty worthwhile. And I don't know if other people even care, but because I do, it's something that I'm going to continue to do. And maybe there is a market for mixing and matching like that. Shoot, take a look at I think Lamy has been doing it. Of some of their pins where their clips and caps are different sizes, and or not different sizes, but different colors. I mean, um, and it looks pretty cool. You can kind of tag a theme to it all, and there you go. Yeah, fountain pen making is a lot of fun. It may not look like a lot of fun to do, but I think it is. It's one of those things where you might have to be doing it to actually enjoy it. But ooh, so this one's going to be pretty interesting. My wife's also got some ideas for this particular one that she'll do as well. Um, we're actually going to go this direction with it. Maybe this way. I don't know. The reality is I won't know what it looks like until I do. And that's usually by the time it's all over. Oops. All over. When it's at the end, I mean. Gotta make it to the finish line. Got plenty of room on this for a little extra if I wanted to do something. Oh. We're back. All right. See, do we want to change the scenery here? What's that look like? Not good. There you go. Maybe. Yep. How's that look? All right. Need to bring it up. Bring it up a little bit. I'll do. There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. All right. So the next thing I've got to do with this this feel. Okay, I think I just did the cap diameter. Let's move to this here. Boom. Yeah, I thought as much. Boom. Then let's clean up the inside a little bit on the edges. Ooh, yeah. Just a little touch right here. Give it a little bevel. Heck yeah, just a little. Whoop. That's it. That's all we're looking for. Yeah, there it is. And this will give it a nice slope. Boom. All right, here we go. Slow her down a little bit. And we have launch. And disengage. Poof. Threaded. Let's get the other component that's going to go towards this. Or go to this pen, rather. I think I need to make a little bit of an adjustment on the body here, but that's all right. Beauty of making everything yourself. You can kind of remedy whatever it is. And I guess that's kind of one of the things that you can do as a custom pen maker versus a streamline maker, like a drop shipper kind of thing, where you're working with the manufacturer of them. You have to rely on their quality control, or you have probably intend on receiving all of them, inspecting all of them, and that would just kind of, it wouldn't negate everything, but it would make, kind of nullify the significance of doing it a little bit. Not to mention, if you didn't make it yourself, you wouldn't really know what you're looking for. So that's another one of those interesting things about making custom pins for people. These are called bespoke pins, and you know, it's for a pretty specific type of people. And you know, it's really interesting because when you look at manufactured pens, the colors are quite limited, and so in comes the custom pen market, where you can, if you have the ability, then it would be worth working on different things, such as you know, making your own resin stuff. Because take a look at the ends there. Like, you don't really see that in a manufactured pen. So some people struggle to understand that, but I guess a simple comparison or a parallel for some people would be like reskinning something. Reskin, like, you know, having a different color of whatever it is. And if you like something already, but you just want to have a different color, then this is kind of one of those things. Yeah, kind of got reskinning from Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but you know, it happens with a lot of things, like I don't know, your car. Like, if you got a car that you didn't like the color of, how much would you actually like the car? So it's one of those things. Do you like the BMW blue? Like, I really like that BMW blue. I'm pretty sure BMW and Porsche have their own specific blue that you can't get made because it's like their licensed color or something like that. And pretty interesting, but the car's the same. It's just, you know, a different color, and some people like to do that. And there's a market for it, there's a good chance there's going to be somebody there. So, and the beauty of this is I like the construction of all of it, and my wife does all the colors of it. So it's a good time. It's a really fun time to uh, refine your skills, work through different processes, create your process, which is another thing that people are always searching for. Your process of how to do whatever it is that you're doing. So it's always interesting because you'll learn how to do a process, but then you'll start making it your own, and it's important. I think it's important to come up with your own process of whatever it is that you're doing. And I think inspiration has become a pretty loose word, but it is what it is. You're not really to think that you're going to invent something brand new uh, is kind of a stretch. Will it be a remake of something that's already been done? Yeah, probably. I mean, think about how long pins have been around. They've been around for a long time, and there's all different kinds of innovations that have been done, and like the piston fillers and the bladder fillers and the eyedropper fillers and the converters and everything like that. So unless somebody can find a different delivery system for ink, you're not really going to make many more innovations on that type of thing. You're just going to like use different components. You're going to have different dimensions of the same thing. So kind of interesting to think about that. However, there is one of those things that some people, I think, perceive as copying when it's something that like you recently did and then you start seeing it. So I think about that in a couple different ways. One is, imagine if you're car shopping and you're like, oh man, I am in the market for a new 4Runner. And so you go to the dealership and you look for 4Runners, and then you like them, you look at them, you're like, oh man, this is nice. I like that. So the next thing you know is you're noticing them all around town. You're like, dang, everybody's got a 4Runner. And it makes you wonder, were they around before and you're just now noticing it? Or is everybody doing it because you started showing interest in it? I mean, I think the answer is pretty straightforward, but it's one of those things that's kind of interesting. Anyway, as that relates to pens or any process of anything, some people get protective of things. The way that they're doing something, which, I mean, honestly, that's kind of how I still am a little bit protective of how I do some things because, it took a lot of struggle to get to that point. And when I think about where I'm at now, it's taken me like 4 years to get to where I'm at now. And then sharing the different things that I've learned up into this point basically cuts out that time cost that a new person would have to put in order to get to where I'm at. Sure, there are people that are most likely smarter than I am that could have figured it out faster, but it's still one of those things where you're guiding. You've done trial and error stuff, and so they're starting with something that actually is already working versus creating something that wasn't working. So I don't know if there's any other makers out there that turn for a living that share their process. So it's one of those things that some people get really protective over. But you know, I mean, it is kind of their their right to do so, I guess, because you could potentially be creating more competition for yourself, and I think that's just a matter of how you look at it in the first place. Um, I think it's important for people to slow down and, you know, enjoy processes of things and appreciate the learning process because that's just the way that it goes. Um, yeah, look at that. That almost lines up too. I can tell just by the numbers. It might not be a perfect match, but it's a close match. Uh, but yeah, so I have made the pins that I'm going to so far with the caps and the barrels. So it is time to move on to section making. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the lathe with the vacuum right quick. So if you don't mind, might be a little bit. I think I've got the settings dialed in so that it doesn't get too loud. And do that. I like a clean workspace. Well, clean as possible. It's a little dusty here and there, but I try. Alrighty, and we're back. I need to swap my tool tray here. So this is what I was using for the. Hold on. This is what I was using for the. There we go. Jeez, come on. That's what I was using for the barrel of the pen as well as the cap of the pen. And then I've got another tray that has all the components for the section. And different pens actually have different trays that I have preset. That way it doesn't take a whole bunch of constant measuring, constant figuring out. I've got it pretty much set how I want it to be. So for this is pretty cool. I'm going to use it at this configuration. I have the flat end here, and then it's going to be this section, this pin here. I need to chase these particular threads and maybe even bevel the edge a little bit more, but so far it is acceptable. So these blanks were done from a different mold that we recently got from Olive Frog Designs, trying them out. And there's a little bevel on the end. This is the other side, but there's a little bevel on the end, but makes it appear like it doesn't match up correctly, or like there is a spot. But because it's going to be trimmed down, it won't make a difference. So there is that. And then as far as the orientation of the section, I'm going to have it with the white side out. Yeah. So something that I've got to do is mark the sections. And the way that I'm going to mark them, I'll mark them twice. So one is the overall length of the section that I'm going to do. Then the other mark is for the tenon part of the section. And the section is going to be what holds the nib housing in the nib, and then the very back of it is going to help support the converter. So I do two marks. One is, as mentioned before, the let's see, um, let's see, how about nope. Let's move the carriage back and do it right here. I don't know if you can see. Uh, hmm. Well, good. That did like nothing. Whatever. Here we go. Mm. Well, I just have to take my word for it. You'll see the marks here in just a second anyway. But I use a Sharpie and then I just do a smoothing line. Just I put the Sharpie down and then I rotate it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it for the ones that I'm going to be working on today. So I'm going to need two different marks. One is going to be for the grip portion. Let's see. We'll take that back. Okay. So these two are the last ones. All right, that's good enough. The next thing I've got to do is the overall length. We shall lengthen this until we have that. Okay. And go ahead. Oh, where are we at? Where are we? I didn't do that one. Here. There we go. So I think this one is pretty much good. Don't need much of anything adjusted here. Um, So the reason it's a little easier to do this at this point is because I've already measured everything out and I know where it's supposed to be in order to uh, make them consistently, which is why you can see some stop collars on some of my drill bits. And then some of them that don't have stop collars is because because it doesn't matter if it goes all the way through. There's a good chance that it's a smaller one. So typically the larger drill bits that I've got have stop collars on them, and that's how I know the depth to go to. All right, got them all measured out now. So sections are probably the most complicated portion to make because, let's see, oops, I've got different steps that I've got to do. So obviously I got to cut the section, mark it, and then create mark the tenon. So knowing the construction of the section will make it so you know like the internals of the cap and then also the internals of the barrel. So all of these things go together, um, but you have to know the measurements of things that are that don't change, and you have to know the measurements of things that are changeable. So the section is one thing that can change depending on what design that you'd like for it to be. So you can change the diameter to an extent. Because if you go too thick, it won't fit in the cap. And then you have to have a different set of taps and dies or be able to thread differently in order to facilitate a larger section. Let's see. Then you can have, yeah, just different designs call for different things. And the way to make those different types of adjustments, you have to know the limitations of whatever it is that you're making. So for example, when I trim the section all the way down, it's going to be 12 millimeters at the widest portion. And that's because it's got to be able to fit inside the cap without any sort of interference. And then the other thing that you would have to know is the grip part of the section, and then the length of the nib in order to create the reverse or space for the reverse inside the cap. So it's a lot of back and forth of figuring those types of things out. If you were trying to do this by yourself, which, you know, that's one of the things that is fun to do in my mind, in my opinion at least. But yeah, yeah. Once you know the length of the section, then you'll have to know the diameter. Well, you know how large to bore it out. Uh, yeah. So, as I mentioned before, all of these things work together, and it's a bit more complicated than just drilling holes because you got to know what size holes to drill, um, or it won't work. A variety of things won't work. Like if the hole's too large or small, then you can't really tap it, or use a die on the tenons. Same thing with the same with the section, the cap, and the barrel. And then the other thing is so the diameter of the tenons, and then also the internal components, or the internal holes that you're drilling and threading. So like this tap is got very fine threads, and this is for the section housing, and it's threads that are that fine don't exactly have a lot of forgiveness if you mess something up. And then the ways to remedy that particular diameter inside, your options become less and less, and you run the risk of losing out on a blank or a portion of the blank. And if you're making it from a rod that's 8.5 inches, well, then you won't have what you need in order to complete the pin with all the components that you want it to have. So learning a process and being able to repeat it consistently is where it's at. When I first started the process, I had to deconstruct everything and then reconstruct everything repeatedly and then make tweaks along the way. So I would write everything out. I probably still have notes on different boxes because I was working on different things, and I would write notes wherever I was because I didn't want to forget whatever it was that I was thinking about at the time. So to make those things happen, and then another thing that's often not talked about or forgotten about is machine maintenance. Not only the acquisition of said machines, but also the maintenance of them. So it's one thing to learn how to do what it is that you're trying to do with the machine. It's also another to maintain that machine. That way it's got nice long usability. But, yeah. Alrighty. So from this point, what I like to do is I've already got it flat. I chased it and smoothed it out, got rid of the high points. And then the last thing I like to do is give it a nice little bevel so the threads can begin. And then it gives it a little ramp for the die and the die holder. So this is a die holder, and then the die is in here. And so that's how I create the threads on the tenon here. And sometimes there we go. You have to use the punch out feature of the tailstock, because the things get locked into place pretty good. So get it started nice and easily, and then you can power feed it. But make sure you're not locking the tail if you do this technique, I'd say. That way you can move it back, and it can freely move. All right, bring it forward. For fine-tuning elements of it, you don't want things to be so square and geometric and everything. Unless you do, I suppose. Unless you do want that. But for me, I like a nice little bevel right here with no sharp edges. But also, when you do the bevel, it makes it go into the barrel a little better. And then you may recall when I made the barrel of the pen, go ahead and clear that off right quick. I do a little recess on the inside here, and what that does is make it so it'll potentially avoid the gutter. See? What happens towards the base of the tenons is sometimes it might not actually flare out, but it'll appear like it flares out, and it won't seat correctly. And my mitigation to that is, well, in a previous video, but I create a little bevel inside. So I don't really need to do anything with this one. However, if I didn't do a good enough job, then I would use a parting tool, and I would bring it over. Then I'd use the parting tool here. So I get it relatively flat against the portion, the shoulder portion, and then I keep a little bit of pressure, and then I would just go in slightly and just trim it just a tiny little bit, and that would also create enough space for it to seat how it's supposed to. So we've done this side. Now it's time to flip it around and do the other side. So what we've got right now is basically a hole with threads on a piece that's about 1.25 inches. So that's not enough for a section. So you have to flip it around. Turn her around, and then you need to create the internal structure for supporting the nib housing, or the housing of whatever it is that you intend on doing. So in my case, I use a Jowo or Yovo nib, and I have to deconstruct. Oh, we'll go over here. So I have to create basically this shape, the opposite of this shape, on the inside of this piece. So that way it'll just go right in and it'll screw right in. So that's a part of why the construction of the section is as complicated as it is, because you can see basically the different levels of this. Let me get a pointer here. So first things first, you take a look at the nib, and when you're factoring in the nib, you're thinking about the cap portion, right? So the nib and then the section, all of this combined, you're thinking about how you're going to make that fit inside the pin cap rather. The next thing is figuring out the section part. And so for me personally, I do it in, I guess, an ascending order of diameters. So the smallest diameter, I already drilled all the way through, and that is for this portion. And then you can see that there's like the threads right here, and then there's another level right here. So my next step is to create the step that fits all of this from here to wherever I want the shoulder to be of the nib housing. And then the next thing I've got to do is create the portion, this tiny portion right here, create enough of a relief for that to go in to the housing. And then lastly, there's this tiny little portion right here that is very, very small. Take a look at it right quick. So this is actually about 0.7 millimeter. And are you going to make a 0.7 millimeter relief cut? Probably not. You could, I suppose, but the way that, well, you'll see how I do it. But it creates it so the section housing is flush with the section itself, which in my opinion is how it should be. But it can be a challenge to do. So establishing your own process and going for the appearance that you want, ultimately is up to the maker of said pin. So so this is creating that portion after the threads. We'll create the space for that. And this is the majority of the flush part of the housing. And then the other part is from the shoulder to the 0.7 millimeter spot. and I've got a stock collar on it, and I don't even go all the way to the stock collar because it's a very small shoulder. But as mentioned before, I like the way that it looks when you do it like that. And so that's the way I'm going to do it. Um, this is actually a relatively recent addition to my section making process. This is how I deal with that 0.7 millimeter part. And then lastly, I do just a tiny bevel here. And so I could do this part with sandpaper, or I could do it with this. And you just do it just a tiny bit, and it should feel smooth. And then the last thing is obviously creating the threads. And so we get our tap, and then I just have it seated with a little bit of pressure onto it. And then I move the carriage forward, definitely do not lock it. And then you can hand crank it, or you can just have it engaged to spin on its own. If you've got a reverse, it makes it even nicer. But that's the construction of the nib, or the section rather, to basically create the reciprocal inside the section here. The last thing is to test fit and make adjustments as necessary. Usually actually clear it out too, because sometimes the noodles get stuck in there. There we go. All right, so we've got the, there we go, the dirty section housing that's now cleaned off. So we're sitting here, we got this, and it should easily screw in, and it should also seat flush, which we do, which that's nice. See, I don't know. That's just how it should be, in my opinion. You should only be able to see the nib and the size, not so much the housing, unless you're looking for the housing. But there you go. That's how it is. So I think I'm going to go ahead and mark that point in my live here. Let's see, how do I bookmark that? We'll do one. We'll do it in 1 hour. Let me write that down. Let's see, today is the 10th. At 1 hour into video. But yeah, it is the most complicated portion of the pen making. So sorry, I'm looking at something for a second. Cool. So make sure you're staying hydrated. And before anybody says something about my pH water here, uh, it might be worth knowing that your body's gonna change it to the pH that it needs to be, whether or not it's a hypertonic or hypotonic solution. So, Clayton, how you doing? Thanks for saying hello. How you doing today? I am working on fountain pen sections right now. Good deal. Are you a pen maker, or you like watching processes, or what? Or you can say, I don't want to talk to you. Just get back to work. Right on, wood turner. Well, I don't know if I'm the best at. I'm the best example for that, but trying out some different things. So as far as the setup goes, I've got this camera that's looking at the work that I'm doing, and then I'm trying out having another camera like looking at me. Um, so immediate thoughts on this particular setup is having the chat in a more ideal place. That way I am, able to look at the camera and look at the chat. So I don't know if I will do anything about that, but that is one thing. And then let's see. No one's the best. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I've been streaming for long. So today I am. I've only been doing it for about an hour and 15 minutes. Um, and as far as how long I've been doing it, I think June or July is when I started. So not too long. I've been gearing up for it. Um, yeah. As far as what kit, this is bespoke or kitless. There's no kit. You make it. You make everything for it. Yeah. Do you make pins as well? I rarely make wood anything, which is kind of unfortunate, but because of uh, how I would like to finish the project, well, there's a variety of reasons, but that's one of them. Because I'm making pens, I would feel compelled to use a CA finish on them because they're going to be handled all the time, and I'm in the group of people that if it's one of those things, I'm going to CA finish it. I know that there are people in the. I like the natural feel of wood. Yeah. Okay. I do too for certain things, but it's just kind of funny. I think you found a place to watch. Cool. Well, maybe cool. I assume that you were referring to me, but let's see. You have made a lot of pins, but all have been kits. Nice. You make bulk work. Hey, that's cool. That's a way to do it. Do you have a Etsy or something that you sell on, or you got your own website, or what? I uh I have my pins on Etsy, um, but how you sell to businesses? Cool. I've done that a couple times, but you know, my wife makes the resin, and I turn them into pins. And I made some for schools before, and I've made some for businesses as well. It's just not many places want fountain pens. It's a very specific sort of thing. But as far as the kits go, you know, I suppose I started just like everybody else that makes pens. Um, I made a couple um, twist pins, the slimline twist pins, which, you know, hindsight, well, I guess it's a mixed bag. Some people think that those are actually harder to make than like single body pins, and I don't disagree. However, I do think the slimline kit is the best place to start because you're getting reps with matching the uh, diameter of the pin to the bushings that you're working on. So probably a different train of thought when it comes to that than some people, but you don't make many pins, yeah. Uh, Staircase spindles for restoration, cool. Salt and pepper grinders for restaurants. That's pretty neat. I imagine. Well, that's cool. Some line of fancy spoons are cheap and easy to make. Yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't. I mean, I do make money from what it is that I'm doing, right? But that's not my main goal of pin making, or at least fountain pen making. Uh, I enjoy I enjoy doing it. Let's see. So far, I'm gonna yeah. It is quite a bit different. It is a very different. Yeah, but it's it's fun, and I do it because it's fun. I recently went to the um, DC Pin Show, and my wife and we went to the DC Pin Show with our inventory and did pretty good. Met lots of people, networking and stuff like that. So, as you probably know already, since you're already working with restaurants and other businesses, you know networking is important for any business success. So, pretty interesting. But fountain pens are definitely a different beast um, when it comes to making them, when it comes to the people as well. Very, very different type of people. Oh, cool. Let's see. Back here, I've got a wood lathe. That's where I started making bespoke pens. Um, I do all of my drilling on this lathe. Um, but yeah, I started on a wood lathe, made everything, and then when I made enough um, and sold enough, rather, then I was able to upgrade to a metal lathe. And you know, as far as the metal lathe goes, I don't turn any metal on it, but um, uh, it does do some very let's see, it does very geometric shapes. Uh, so you know, you got the slide and the cross slide, and it's pretty nice. Oh, cool. From from Denmark. That's really cool. Yeah, it's a Jet 1221. I've turned well over 10,000 pins on that bad boy. I think closer to 12 now. But yeah, pretty cool. Definitely logged some miles on that lathe, and it's paid for itself many times over. Uh, Bought it, I think about 5.5 years ago now. If you're doing if you're doing like salt and pepper shakers and stuff like that, you probably have a larger lathe, huh? Oh, did I thread it? Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, there's the section. It just goes right in. So, but yeah, I started making these on a wood lathe, and then, like I said, I just kind of upgraded. And when I say upgraded, it's more it's more like I was able to spread out a little bit because I've got another lathe over here, and then I've got another one behind me. So let's see. Um, yeah, I don't know how to make it so you can post a link, but let's see. Are you on Instagram? I could hop over and take a look at that. Oh, nice. A one-way. One-ways are they're nice for sure. There's no but either. They're just nice. Oh, okay. Let's see. um, so wood turning equipment. Interesting. Well, I use wood turning equipment for a living. Same name. Let's see. Maverick dot pens is where my is my Instagram. Maverick dot pens. I probably should have that in links. I don't know if I do or not. But yeah, Maverick dot pens is production work. Nice. I I mean, this is, believe it or not, Maverick pens as of now is kind of like, it was more like a hobby, um, and now it's becoming a little bit more of a hobby, or more of a business than a hobby. Um, Being able to have a little bit more time and being or having structured a little bit differently, I've kind of created some free time in order to accomplish a little bit more, in order to make it something that's a bit more consistent. Time is one of those things that limits. Um, well, I mean, I'm glad somebody does the production work. Depending on what production work it would be, it's one of those things where I don't know if I would like to do that. Um, Although, I guess in a way I kind of already do. Um, but yeah. So you're thinking about streaming? Let me take a look. I'm over here. There you go. Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Are you? Are you BW? Let's see. Are you BW? Nice. All right. I will have to take a look at that. But yeah, we got some upcoming shows as well. So I honestly It was until last year that I knew there were even fountain pen pin shows. But I've been making them for a few years now, a few like four. Uh, Making them and sharing them. I guess I should be specific about that too. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll definitely take a look at it. I let's see. I do have variety of things. Oh man, it's big. Oh, that's a short. I got you. I read that wrong. I thought that it was a 9 hour stream, but it was 9 hours ago. My bad. Um, I don't know if you know, but it is unlisted. Let's see. Interesting. Trying to build a community for turners. Uh, yeah, I would say that there's a good chance that a lot of them just try to keep to themselves when it comes to uh, their secrets and how they do stuff and things like that. Uh, but yeah, it's I had I have a Discord that I was working on that I was going to start building up a bit more, and it is just going to be about turning all different kinds of stuff, but primarily pens. I I might not have that set up either. Let me see. Hop over here right quick. Do some of this action. Mm-mm. Um, okay. Here we go. This. All right. I think I can post it here. There we go. That should take you to the initial page, and there's not much to it quite yet. Um, it's been a busy time because I started it and have pen shows that my wife and I have been gearing up for. So it's really in its infancy stages. But that's pretty cool. That was a really long piece of work that you're working on. Um, Unlisted. Yeah. Looking at the video that you sent, it looks like it was unlisted. Um, 1 second. see. Hmm. Okay. Do a little of this action. So give you a thumbs up because that's cool. That's cool work. But unlisted when I went right to it. Here, I'll snap a picture and show you what I'm seeing. Um, that's all right. So what I'm seeing is this right here. Oh, probably need to um, switch cams. There we go. There. So there we go. So that's what I was seeing. It says unlisted. Uh, so it looked like you had to share the link with whoever you want to see it, which is fine. It just if you were trying to get uh, views on it, just wanted to let you know that it was that way. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, it should just be in the edit part. If you go to like your manage videos or something like that, then you can see the status of the videos, whether they're private, public, or unlisted or something like that. Did that link for the Discord work? It should have. Uh, but yeah, I'm also trying to figure out Discord, so there's that too. And if there's a if there's something that you think you should be able to access and you can't, it's probably because uh, I don't or I haven't spent the time it takes to learn all the different permissions quite yet. But because there's not much in there, anyways, you wouldn't be missing out. All right, let's see. Where was I on this? All right, here we go. But yeah, that's primarily going to be pens. So um, I'm not sure how active you are on Discord, but that's probably what it's going to primarily be. Subs on my YouTube right now, I think I'm at 300. 305 maybe, somewhere around there. Uh, I have not been doing videos lately because of just how things have been, and I can't. Uh, let's see, you're a gamer. Nice. Well, shoot. Probably could learn stuff from you about Twitch or not Twitch. Well, that too, but Discord is what I was talking about. Subs on Twitch. I don't think I've got any, but I am multi-streaming, so I'm streaming on Twitch as well as YouTube. So trying that out and seeing how it goes. Uh, let's see. What am I doing here? Yeah. But yeah, I don't have any subs on Twitch. How about you? YouTube has kind of been more of my platform that I am more familiar with, but I do watch a lot of Twitch. I used to watch a lot of used to watch a lot of World of Warcraft. I'd watch the AWC tournaments, and I'd watch uh, Peekaboo on WoW, even though Rogue was never my thing anyway. So, but he's an entertaining person to watch. So, in a way, he's one of the many reasons that I finally was able to get going on it. Hey, you got one. Nice. I will need to sneak a peek at it. Yeah, maybe. Hmm. Nice. On YouTube, got the 500 on it in your radar. That's good. Have you been doing more shorts, or have you been doing more longer form, or what kind of editing have you been doing and stuff like that? Some oh, well, that's a little embarrassing. I uh I have not. That's my problem the whole time, I suppose. Well, thank you for pointing that out. Um, uh, been sharing the turning, your turning stuff on your gaming community or with your gaming community. Mm, yeah, there we go. That's cool. I think there is. Well, what games do you play? Nice. Oh, you're a guy that drops subs all over. That's awesome. Really cool. Have you seen the new Borderlands? Borderlands is something that, well, I won't spoil it, but it's it was nostalgic, I would say. Oh, cool. Mobile games. The shoot, are you a Raid Shadow Legends player? That one's that one's a doozy. I haven't played. Yeah. And you're right. You're right. That's a good point. Subs are yeah. Is your gaming channel different than your streaming channel? Used to play Raid for 3 or 4 years. Woo! Yeah, I think I started around when Ninja came out the first time. Not like the gamer Ninja, but the character Ninja. Watcher of Realms. Isn't that the one that Hell Hades um, was talking about quite a bit? I don't know. I just kind of assumed that you knew who Hell Hades was, but you don't stream games. Yeah, well, streaming games. I imagine there's some uh, over-the-shoulder people watching you do what you do. You're like, you're doing it all wrong. It's it's funny, but yeah. Yeah, I don't really even participate in that. I didn't particularly enjoy the cycling of the different Hydra heads and uh, needing to have you know how Hades. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Hey, since he was creating on mobile, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, he's got a pretty good community going on with the raid channel. There we are. That makes sense. That makes sense. Not oh, oh, there we go. Um, spend some time. Yeah, I probably have some stuff ready for you. If you went back to raid, you probably have some stuff to look at. Kevin, you escaped the hot weather and came to the beach for the weekend. That's awesome. Got to take care of that foot, man. Let's see. Let's see. Uh-oh. Let's see. Boom. Or boom. So these are two different ways that I was thinking about as well, as far as setting it up. So hang out a little bit more here and then have the lathe as kind of the smaller portion. Hey, so I don't have PayPal set up on my Twitch. So just go to here, then type in, yeah. 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 Anyway, but yeah, those are the different types of things that I was thinking about as far as getting it set. Um, it's healing good. That's good, man. That's good to hear. And you said that you got your order um, from McKinsey Penworks. That's good. Sometimes when I get stuff, I get really excited and I got to go out and start working on it immediately. But other times it's like maybe I'll give it a little bit of time, think about how I'm going to approach whatever it is. Let's see. Let's see. We'll do this. I gathered that about Ray, but I'm not going to pack. You have the EasyWood tools? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see them being overpriced. Clayton. Clayton? Clayton. But yeah. I do like EasyWood tools. Um, it's kind of silly, but because of what I make, this is just the perfect length. So it's kind of funny that's really its biggest selling point for me. It's just the right length for doing or making or turning pins. And I also have the micro set as well.
Say just put PayPal link in there. It's saying that you don't link PayPal like that. That's not how it works. You're saying, or are you just talking about for subs? That has nothing to do with PayPal.
Do I have anything set up?
PayPal link. That's just the link that someone would donate.
What?
We have a PayPal me link, which is where people can donate. They just want to donate to you,
Mhm.
and that's literally just posting a link.
All right. Clayton looked into it. My wife looked into it, and I have not met the minimum criteria to have subs, I guess. Now, it could be off, but that's what it looked like, at least. Thank you. Nice. Close to 300 for the micro set. Yeah, I think they're about that much here too. Maybe maybe a little less, but I didn't find it that big of a problem because it's one of those that I just won't have to swap out pretty much ever again. And I also don't use the EasyWood inserts, but don't tell them that. Yeah, I get a good chunk of carbide at a time. So I think um, these fit the EasyWood, and they are, I don't know, I think 25. Yeah, yeah, kind of weird about the whole Twitch thing. Yeah, I'd like to, so, but it's an hour and a half away. Well, right on, Kevin. You'll be there in no time. You'll be there, be able to have some fun, turn some new projects. What I should have done in this case is start with flattening the surface. Yeah. Yeah. So Clayton, how long have you been turning? That in actually. And retrace it. Oop, there we go. The link for those carbides, let's see. I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. And the Discord, if you went to the Discord, it's in my equipment list, I believe. Yes, Kevin. For now, I'm trying it out. Trying the whole multi-streaming. Let me hit this for a second. Let's see. Yoink. I'll sit up tall. There we go. All right, Discord. Let me see if it's in there. I think it is. Let me make sure. Go away, thing. There you go. They're at the very bottom of the equipment list. See if I can. see. Here. Nope. Yeah, it's at the bottom of the equipment list that I use. I just checked. It's the 12 millimeter. Um, but yeah. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, all good, man. It is weird, and trying to figure out how to um, co-locate those things because both Twitch and YouTube don't mind if you multi-stream. However, they're like you can't show favoritism like bandwidth wise to one or the other, and then you also can't like have the comments visible or something like that. So that's kind of what their dealio is with that. But yeah. Oh, let's get this bad boy switched over here. So do you like that view, that view, or so one, this is two, or three? See, I kind of like this one, but if somebody's like really trying to see the work happen, magic happen, then it makes it a little awkward. Could also work on the back here. That way it's something that's I don't know, not what it is, we'll say. Yeah. But yeah, the equipment list is also uh they're Amazon affiliate links. So I don't know if I need to say that, but at least here. But they're affiliate links, and if you do happen to purchase one with the link, I may receive a small commission from it. I'm not sure. Still pretty new when it comes to that type of stuff. But yeah, it's believe it or not, the dang carbides was actually a little bit of a money sink initially because trying to find the right ones took a couple times. So if I make just enough in that just to recoup some of the money of the whole learning, I'd call that a win. If not, whatever. It is what it is. And it was going to happen anyways because that's just what I do. I keep going until I figure it out. So, uh-oh. Yeah, my toothbrush. There we are. Right on. 9 p.m. Right on. Well, it was nice meeting you, and have a good evening. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out. And I'll see you around. Yeah. Ready. That's good. Get this. Okay. Oh, I hear that. Got to keep her happy. Alrighty. Right on. Appreciate it. See you around. Yeah, Kevin, you're good, man. You're good. Good to hear that your foot's doing all right, and well, your internet is good. Shoot, mine yesterday went out on my first one, my first stream, and so I use it as a go eat some dinner kind of thing. But I did end up coming back to stream a bit more. I think. Did I? I don't know. I think so. So I don't know if you've seen this latest and greatest of tool here, but using a Forstner bit to get a pilot hole started, as well as a trimming it down and making it straight. Kind of a pro tip. Although I'm not exactly a pro, but call it next level. I don't know. We call it something. But how's vacation been? I gotta say, it's pretty awesome. You took advantage of, uh, you know, if you were down for the count for a little bit, taking advantage of it and doing a little vacay action. That was a good deal. Yeah. Get out of here. Yeah. Hmm. Had a little bit of a fiasco the other day as well with the rain pouring. Um, there was some rain, inclement weather that was trying to make its way into the workshop again. So I took some plastic and basically built a little makeshift dam and kind of redirected the water off to the side of the house. And I used we were looking online to see if there were any sandbags or sand at the hardware stores, and there wasn't. So had to find another way. And I just used wet towels and then folded them into that plastic to basically conform to the ground, and then worked out. Definitely stopped the water from coming in as much. Went to Borderlands. Went to see Borderlands the other day. I enjoyed it. If you like Borderlands, you might enjoy it. A little nostalgia action. Uh, but if you're just going to see it not knowing anything about Borderlands, you might not like it. So, my kids liked it, fine enough, but they like movies, period. So, be in here. Need to do. I need to take the carriage off and clean under it. It's getting a little stuck here and there, it seems. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I saw that you had seen that Abby was going to San Fran. It's pretty cool. I'll be hanging here, so hopefully it'll go well for her when she's going. Also changed up the camera setup a little bit, making it have a little bit more room. The other thing about cleaning the lathe is when you oil the leads through, it's a dust magnet, so kind of ends up being, excuse me, a little frustrating when it comes to that. Got a little bevel here, smooth it out. That's what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so there. Let's check how well this is fitting together. Nice. Good. That is good. This is going to be cool. It's going to be a cool one. So about one more section after this one. Then we can actually start turning it down to see what it's going to look like. I think I'm going to do a lot of the trimming down over here on the metal lathe, and do the final over on the wood lathe. So we'll see how far I get, but it's still pretty early. It's about 3. So that's cool. Not too late. Making good time. I was working on 15, but had to drop it down. I want to bring them to conclusion, and wasn't going to happen with as many as I have, at least for another day or two. But it's not my goal necessarily to make them as fast as I can. It's about enjoying the process. There are some times though that I'm just like, I just want to see what you look like to know if I want to make more of them. So there's also that. Just a little bit there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't end up streaming at all at the pin show, and honestly, it was It's a pretty neat idea. However, it was busy from a vendor perspective, so it just wouldn't have worked well, I would say. So didn't end up doing that. Also, we only had one table, and there was no room on the table or around the table for that matter, because they try to put enough people in. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but uh, they try to put plenty of people, but not so crazy. It wasn't super packed or overly cramped seeming. It was just fitted. I think that's a way to say it. It was fitted. So pretty pretty good. Because I trimmed the face portion off of that, I need to drill back just a little bit more with this one. All right. Nice. We're turning true. So true. Create some space. A little bit more space. So some things, if it gets too thin, you only get one shot at it. And if it doesn't work out the first time, then there's a good chance you'll overdo whatever it is and make it not so good. And everything's sort of done. It's off. Uh, I also took the cover off of the jaw here. I think that's saved some time. So I think I read as well, Little Machine Shop doesn't even uh, put the uh, cover over the jaws anyway. So sweet. This is going to be pretty interesting, I think. Hmm. 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 Make sure to hydrate. I am going to be right back. I could do a little be right back screen right quick. Hey. Back. Thank you for your patience. I had to go hydrate. Then I had to go talk about how she wanted to get that pin finished. Because we're almost at it. So I got one more. One more. Look at that. Nope, you can't see that. Hold on. Let me show you. There we are. That's cool. Let me see. Let me do something right quick. Here we are. There, you can kind of see the swirls. Some of them are saw marks, bandsaw marks, but let's see. We'll go back to here. Focus up. Okay. There we go. Here we go. One more section. We could do it. Then we're going to trim it down. One more section. One more section. Okay. There you go. And this one doesn't need to be trimmed far back at all. Pretty much just needs to be leveled out. Yes. Get her going. Using tools for different purposes than they were intended. Oh. Okay. That's nice. That is nice. So these were quite the hit at the show, at the pin show. The pastel prisms. And let's see, 2 days before, I had started on a set of 15 of them because we were pretty low on how many we had. And one of the things about the pastel prism is that they vary quite a lot. And we started like 15 of them 2 days before leaving, and we were up till about midnight getting all of them ready. And Abby sanded them while I was still working on them. She even had time to take a break because it was going faster than I was. That's just kind of crazy. Not that she was going faster, but that she was able to do those things generally quicker than I was able to do the things I was working on. So, kind of crazy. But probably not for anybody that doesn't even have a frame of reference, I suppose. There we go. That's good. That is good. A little bit to the back. Good. All right, so from here, I do like to do a little bevel, a little cleaning up of the level it out, flatten it out here. Ooh, that's hot. Good. Having a good time. And thread. Splendid. Perfectly splendid. All right. So last couple things I do here with this section is a little bit of this. Ooh, yeah. Good. And then I'll get the body and test fit here. Make sure I don't need to create what some people refer to as a gutter. Nice. Oh, look at that. Just lovely. Having a reverse function on the lathe is luxury. I guess luxury will work. It's very nice. It's a very nice function. And not just for unscrewing anything, but not just for unscrewing things, I should say. All right, we are going to face this one because I don't want to do everything else and then have to do it again later. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty. Now, this is for the outer part of the section here. Go all the way in there. A little bit will do. And then this to create just that tiny little 0.7 mil step for the very end of the housing. Then lastly, we're going to thread it. Lower the speed here. And then just take it for a ride. We're seated, steady, moving forward here. Here's that reverse function again. And then just let it come out. It'll do the work. Give it a little bit of pressure in reverse on the tailstock to make it come all the way out. There we go. The last thing, it does not feel like I did this part. Needs to be done. Be smoothed just a little touch right there. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. And clear out. Excuse me. And test fit. That's lovely. Nice and flush. You can see it, and flush you cannot. Alrighty. So I do all these sections on the wood lathe, and that's partially because um, getting it down to um, getting it close enough to the live center on the tailstock is you can't get it small enough. Actually, you can't get the cutting tool close enough to the tailstock for the dimensions that you need. So we're not going to be going too crazy. We're going to give it a. Let's start with the barrels and trim them down. And when I do the trimming, I keep the vacuum on, so hopefully it won't be too loud. But the first thing I'm going to do is um, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna clean off. Gonna clean off right quick, and then we'll finish getting it set up. And then move to running the carriage. And the carriage is just gonna move far enough so that I don't wreck it. So I'm gonna keep this here. And then I'm going to actually zoom out just a little bit on this camera so we can see the magic happening. Because I am going to do it this way, let's see, let's focus. I need to go back, and there we go. There's the zoom. Okay. Gonna move the camera just a little bit. There. There we go. That's pretty good. And then I think I'm going to shift it just a tiny bit here. There. That should be pretty good. Here. Oh, this way. There. That's good. Now to adjust the focus right quick. Let's go ahead and get something mounted up here so we can see. We're going to start with, let's start with one of these. This is fun. So I know that I'm going to be taking the piece down to about 15, and I know that this is 15. So this is more or less a little quick guide for me to know. And we're going to go just shy of that mark, and then just going to leave it there. And then when you are using the metal lathe for this type of purpose, I'll talk about it again, but when you're running the lathe to the end of a blank here, and you're taking as big of a bite out of the lathe as I am, it's going to have a lot of pressure on the carriage pushing into the blank, and then what can end up happening is it snaps. And then when it snaps, it can chip out too deep. So you'll see that I leave like a plate right there, a little disc, a proud disc shape that well, you'll see what I'm talking about. So lock that. Here we go. And then once I engage the lead screw, which is a screw that's down here that could run the carriage the whole time, you'll see what happens. It'll just run the carriage at the rate that it's going. But I will be turning on the vacuum, and I believe I've got it set up well enough to where it shouldn't be loud, but if it is, I apologize. But it is what it is. So, here we go. It broke. All right, so we're going to get the lathe up to speed. And everything is already set, locked in. Then I use a vacuum to extract these floors, that way it doesn't build up. But yeah, this is what I consider a large bite. It's going to be taking a deep cut out of it, and I may have to adjust. So this is. Alright. This is going pretty good. That's what I was saying. You can see that this is quite a deep cut here. And you want to make sure that you leave a little bit, because if you do make any adjustments, or if you do take it all the way off to the end, then that could be a problem for breaking it. So I want to avoid that. There we go. So we've got where we're going here. Let me pick something else right quick. Huh. Let's see something. That goes to that. Let's see. That's fine. That's fine. Oh. Why did that turn off? Ooh. Oh, there we go. And the other thing here, get my calipers. There they are. My calipers, check the actual diameter that we're at, because once we're set up, then we won't really need to move the carriage anymore. So I can say that we're just about dialed in. We need to back her off just a tad. And yeah, I did move it back just a tad already, but there. Boom. All right, so from here, all I need to do is swap the piece. Pop this off. Put the next one on. And continue. So the tailstock doesn't have to be like crazy tight, but it just needs to be able to support it. Okay, everything's locked into place. We're up to speed. Let's hit the vacuum. And then engage the floor. And we're going to disengage the floor. Put it in. And put it off. Bring it back. Bring the tailstock all the way back. Reverse, pop it off. Get the next one, do it again. And then we continue this until we have done the ones that we have been working on. And there's a total of 6 that I'm working on now. Well, there's a total of 15, but I dropped it down to 6. So I can actually get something to the finish line, hopefully today. Yeah, let's see. Lock. And before we get in, we're going to disengage. And drop the speed, tuck the vacuum away. Reset. Okay. And once we're done with all the barrels of this thing, then we're going to do pretty much the same thing with the caps. And the caps are going to be very similar to start off with. I could dial them in the whole time, but I like to throw them onto the wood lathe and turn a bit the cap. And if you're trying to do something like this, leave enough meat on the blank so it doesn't try to torque itself in a way that will make it so it kind of works. So that can mess up with the cut. And the powder here is kind of crazy, but check this out. So we're looking at this, and then here we go. It gives it that shine, so you can kind of see what it's going to look like, which it might have been too reflective to see. Definitely pretty cool. Okay. And then we got one more of these. And then we'll move over to the caps. Lock in. And here we go. Reduce speed. Disengage the tailstock. Withdraw. Unscrew. Remove. Right. That. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Missing one. There you are. Okay. But one more. Got the purple potion here. Boom. Boom. Up to speed. Carriage. Under. Remove. A little powdery. Kind of hard to see what that's going to look like. All right, so I'm going to measure this right quick. Make sure that we still are where we want to be when it comes to the size that we're going for. And indeed, might back it off just a little bit more when I flip over to the cap. So anyway. So that was the barrel mandrel. And here is the cap handle. This relates to this. Okay. Move this back a bit. Right. Let's get her turning. Okay. Just going to stop these sides as well. And it's going to be right around 15.5 here. Or more. If we're at 16, that's perfectly acceptable. There's a little bit more space for tapering. And we are at 15.7, which I like that. We're going to leave it there. 15.7 is good. To the next one. Yeah. And lock her in. Engage. Right. More to go. Boom. It's going swimmingly. I think we got 3 more to go here. Alrighty. Here we go. Okay. Uh-oh. Hmm. Got one more. We're gonna hold what we got for now. Probably take a break for this one. Water spinning. Alright, here we go. Well, let's see where we are right now. Where we are right now is pretty close. Still have a little ways to go as far as getting everything uh, to a point where you can see them. However, pretty good progress, I'd say. Let's see, let's go ahead and put all these together right quick, and then I get an idea of what we're looking at. Because these are just now cut, and the carbide actually needs to be replaced um, in my lathe there. It's quite dusty in appearance, but it's just because it didn't get a super clean cut. If it was sharper, um, if the blade, if the carbide, there we go, if the carbide cutter was sharper, then it would have cut even better. But it's all right. It's not at the final dimensions, so not really a concern. Yeah. I have to rechase these threads. It's a little snug. We're going for a nice fit and finish. Smooth. Yeah. Smooth fit and finish. Not a snug, not a tight. Smooth. And then trying to find the thread start can be a pain sometimes, but when you're working with triple lead, let's see how that feels on here. Looks like that, see? Comfy. Nice. So from here, basically, I do the rest of my work over at the wood lathe, and I have not set up the camera for that quite yet. So for those reasons, I'm going to probably call it for now, stream wise. But here is what we've been working on. So far, and we made some good progress. I've got the other ones here that are that I have yet to start. Well, I didn't make the caps for them, rather. So the caps in the section I haven't made yet. But let's see. Let's take a look here. The light turned back on. So this is what we were working on. Doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but these are going to look really nice, I think. This one's pretty cool, especially. And then for the black one, that one's got Abby's got some plans for